You ever have that feeling where you try to make something better, you measure it, you track it, and somehow you just end up making it worse? It's this bizarre paradox. We set a goal, we pick a number to track it, and then poof, it all goes sideways. So let's dive into why this happens and figure out why sometimes the numbers we trust the most, well, they just lie.
All right, to get to the bottom of this, we're going to start with a really simple thought experiment. But trust me, this little analogy, it gets right to the heart of the problem, and it might just change the way you look at every goal and target you've ever set. So, picture this. Your entire job, your only job, is to keep a room warm. Simple enough, right? And hey, there's a nice bonus in it for you if you do a good job. Now, your performance? It's all measured by one thing, that digital thermometer hanging on the wall. So how do you get that bonus? What's your move? And right away, this is where the trouble starts. You've got two different things going on. On the one hand, there's the real goal, right? A genuinely comfortable, warm room. But on the other hand, you've got the measured target, just making that number on the thermometer go up. And believe me, when the pressure's on, we learn really, really fast that hitting the target is not always the same thing as achieving the goal. I mean, let's be real here. What's the fastest, easiest way to get that bonus? Are you going to install a whole new heating system? No way. You're going to grab a lighter, maybe a hairdryer, and you're just going to heat the thermometer directly. Boom. The number shoots up, you hit your target, you get your bonus. And the rest of the room is still absolutely freezing. You totally won the game, but you completely missed the point. Now that little story about the thermometer, it's not just some quirky thought experiment. No, this is a real, well-documented phenomenon. It has a name, and once you hear it, you'll start seeing it everywhere. In business, in government, maybe even in your own life. It's time we put a name to this problem. It's called Goodhart's law. So here's the official definition, or at least the strong form of it. When a measure becomes a target, it ceases to be a good measure. What does that actually mean? It means the number, the metric, stops being a helpful guide to reality and becomes the goal itself. It's like you've completely forgotten about the actual landscape and you're just obsessing over the map. Okay, and it's super important to know there are kind of two flavors of this problem. The weak form is when a measurement is just a little bit off, like a speedometer that's consistently 5 miles per hour too fast. Annoying, but manageable. But the strong form, oh, that's way more dangerous. That's when the metric becomes completely fake. It's a number you can change without changing anything in the real world. It's not just an inaccurate speedometer. It's a speedometer with a button you can press to make the needle go up whenever you want. So the big question is, how does this even happen? How does a good, useful number turn into a bad, deceptive one? Well, it turns out there are a couple of classic symptoms we can look for. Okay, symptom number one, and this is probably the most common one you'll see, is something called goal displacement. It's exactly what it sounds like. The original goal, the whole reason you started doing something, gets pushed aside and chasing the number becomes the new and only goal. A perfect example is in education, right? The real goal is for students to learn, to develop critical thinking, to actually understand the world. But what happens when the only thing that matters is high test scores? Well, schools and teachers start to teach to the test. The focus shifts from real learning to just memorizing the answers that will be on that one exam. And the original goal? Poof, it's gone. I absolutely love this analogy for it. It's like you're training a runner, but instead of training them to cross the finish line first, you're training them to touch the button on the stopwatch. You're rewarding the thing that changes the number, not the thing that actually achieves the goal. The runner gets fantastic at hitting that stopwatch, but they never, ever win the race. All right, the second symptom is where things get a little more cynical. This one is called gaming the metric. And this is when people start actively looking for ways to cheat the system, to find loopholes that make the numbers look amazing, even when the reality is getting worse. You see this a lot in policing. The goal, obviously, is to have safe communities. And we often measure that by looking at crime statistics. But what happens when the target is simply lower crime numbers, no matter what? Well, you might see police departments reclassify a serious assault as a minor offense. Or maybe they just don't file the report at all. The stats look great on paper. Crime is down, but the streets aren't any safer. And this analogy just nails it. It's like trying to lower a fever by just breaking the thermometer. You're not actually fixing the illness, are you? You're just destroying the one thing that's telling you there's a problem in the first place. It's pure destruction, but it's disguised to look like progress. Okay, so once this idea clicks for you, you're going to start seeing Goodhart's law absolutely everywhere. This isn't some rare, isolated thing. It's a fundamental bug in the operating system of how we try to manage, well, just about anything complex. Think about business, for instance. A company gets obsessed with hitting its quarterly profit targets. So what do? They slash R&D, they overwork their employees, they cut corners on quality, all to make one number look good on one report, even if it guts the company's future. Or how about academia? When the only thing that matters is how many papers a researcher publishes, what's the incentive? To rush out flimsy research or to slice up one good idea into 10 tiny, barely there papers? The publication count skyrockets, but is more actual knowledge being created? Probably now. And of course, social media. The algorithms are designed for one thing: engagement, clicks, shares, angry comments. So what kind of content gets promoted? The stuff that makes us outraged, the stuff that spreads misinformation, because that stuff works. It juices the metric, no matter what the cost is to all of us. So, is this just hopeless? Are we doomed to live in a world of broken metrics? Well, not entirely. Look, we can't ever completely solve this problem, not when humans are involved. But we can fight back. We can put systems in place to slow down the corruption. So here are a few tools you can use. First up, never, ever trust a single metric. You need a dashboard of numbers that balance each other out. Like if you measure speed, you also have to measure quality. Next, you always need human judgment in the loop. A real person has to be able to look at the numbers and ask the simple question: is this actually working? Are we achieving the real goal here? Also, it helps to rotate your targets. That way people can't just get really, really good at gaming one specific number forever. And finally, be careful with incentives. Huge make or break bonuses just create massive pressure for people to find a way to cheat. And this, I think, is the deepest takeaway from all of this. A good metric is, it's a delicate thing. Think of it like a butterfly. It's this beautiful, fluttering proxy for a much more complex reality. But the second you try to grab it, to squeeze it, to aggressively optimize it, you crush it. You destroy the very thing you were trying to capture. So I'll leave you with a question to chew on. Think about your own world, your job, your fitness goals, how you measure success in your life. What are the thermometers that you might be heating? Which numbers have you turned into the ultimate target? And have they maybe stopped representing the reality you actually care about?